Good evening. Don't be scared. Not all these people are speaking with me. Just two of us tonight. My name is Crystal Grant, and I am a member of the alumni of Dorchester Consolidated School. I have a Bachelor of Education with concentrations in Science and French. I am a resident of Dorchester, a mother of 2 children. I serve on the executive board of the Westmoreland Historical Society and on the library board here in Dorchester. And I reject this process. I'm here to speak tonight on the quality of education programs and services at Dorchester Consolidated School. The district presented information and facts on the quality of education programs and services. They pointed out some provincial assessment results comparing Dorchester, Salem, Marshview, our district, and the province. And they also pointed out some small school challenges. Let's take a look at the first point, the provincial assessments. In a typical classroom, test scores form a bell-shaped or normal distribution of data, as you can see from the figure on the right. In this figure, the scores are evenly distributed, resulting in the typical score being in the middle. The mean or average of these scores is generally the best statistic to report in this case, and that makes perfect sense. The mean score from the provincial assessments, however, does not accurately report Dorchester Consolidated School students' academic performance because of 2 factors. 1, Dorchester School is recognized as a school with a greater percentage of high-risk students. And 2, Dorchester has small class sizes. In Dorchester School, the average grade level has approximately 10 students, and each score would have a 10% effect on the class average. So one very low score could have a huge effect and drag that average down. In larger schools, an average grade level may have 60 students. This is including all the students in that grade level in that school. And each score would have only a 1.6% effect on that class average. So if 1 or 2 students scored very low, it really wouldn't have much of an effect. So, in Dorchester School, the test scores often form a negatively skewed distribution curve because, as you can see, in this figure on the right, it shows that a few extremely low scores result in a tail to the left, pulling that mean score drastically down. Do you see where the mean is actually located there? And actually, most of the test results are under that hill, so the median or mode would actually better represent the typical score in this class. However, only the mean or average score is actually recorded in the provincial standardized tests, unfairly representing the academic performance of students at Dorchester School. However, despite this fact, the percent of students who perform at or above appropriate level at Dorchester Consolidated School is impressively comparable to other schools. This graph shows not actual provincial assessment scores, but 6 schools' percentages of students performing at or above appropriate level in grade 2 reading over the last 3 years. Dorchester School is actually the dark blue bar on the left of each of those groupings. So as you can see, Dorchester is pretty comparable to the other schools. This is grade 5 mathematics, and Dorchester again is that dark blue bar on the left side of each grouping. And this is, remember, this is representing students at or above appropriate level. This is grade 7 reading. Again, Dorchester is the dark blue bar on the left side of each grouping. And I don't know, I noticed in 2012 there was just no available information for that one. And this is grade 7 writing. And grade 8 mathematics. And again, Dorchester is the dark blue bar on the left. so we do pretty good at mathematics. But quality of education is more than just provincial assessment scores. Quality of education includes the growth of a student, which is the true indicator of learning in a school. There are students that walk through these doors with little or no language skills, and they improve vastly in the first year they're here. There are students that have learning difficulties, but are given the help they need on a daily basis. And at the other end of the spectrum, there are also students that are already high academic achievers, but are given individualized instruction to help them grow and be challenged in new ways. In Dorchester School, our students can grow academically, socially, and emotionally. Dorchester students have a great number of advantages that a larger school cannot match. Because Dorchester has many high-risk students, a resource teacher has been appointed for our school and is always available. If a child needs resource, that student is seen right away, and a program is implemented within a few hours or days. At larger schools, a student who needs resource is put on a waiting list and may not be seen for weeks, months, and too often, sometimes even years. At Dorchester School, even kids with a mediocre need are seen and helped immediately. A teaching principal, it keeps the principal connected to the students. The principal can see students' abilities firsthand, and this helps build positive personal connections, something not achieved by the principal that runs the school from the office chair. And this, by the way, was one of the small school challenges. It doesn't look like a challenge to me. Smaller classes allow the teacher more one-on-one instruction with students, increasing the probability that each student will understand the material being taught. In her paper, The Hobbit Effect, Lorna Jimerson writes that achievement gains due to small class size are most pronounced among disadvantaged and minority students. The longer students are exposed to small class size, the more they maintain their academic advantage. In our small school, the instructional time is so extremely effective that teachers can honor individual learning styles. Because instructional time is so extremely effective in our small school, teachers can allow students to pursue personalized learning in many different interest areas outside of the regular academic subjects. And because instructional time is so extremely effective, students can be involved in many enrichment activities. So we really don't miss out. At Dorchester School, students enjoy close interactions with their teachers and greater teacher enthusiasm. There is a family-like atmosphere, and students feel comfortable asking questions, reinforcing learning. It's an environment that fosters a love of learning. Because of greater student-teacher interactions, students receive relevant and immediate guidance in real time. Advising is always going on, either formally or informally, which leads to a clearer path to the future for the students. There are few discipline problems. There are no drug, truancy, or alcohol issues. Robbery, vandalism, possession of weapons, verbal abuse, and disorder in the classroom are issues that are virtually non-existent in Dorchester. In the Tell Them From Me online survey from 2013-14, the prevalence of bullying in girls at both the elementary and junior high levels at Dorchester School was 0%. And this makes the teaching principal really not such a big issue. There's more interaction between teachers and students of all ages, not with just one set of peers sitting together in a classroom. There's a companionable rapport and a general respect that is formed which transcends ages and abilities. Educators have long known that poverty hurts student achievement. Researchers Craig Howley and Robert Bickle have found that poor kids do better if they attend a small school. They have also found that the benefit of smaller schools was particularly important in the middle grades when children are most at risk of dropping out. One of the greatest factors that affects student achievement is the reduction of anonymity. In small schools, there are high expectations for behavior and achievement. When everyone knows your name, there's a greater sense of accountability. This leads to better academic performance and causes children to monitor their actions. Because Dorchester School is small, students feel like they are part of the community, and they are able to deal with issues of learning, diversity, governance, and building community on an intimate level. Dr. Stuart Brower, teacher and founder of the Small Schools Coalition, writes, "Teaching and learning depend upon, first, deepening personal relationships." He also adds that small schools develop a unique shared culture where students of all types feel they can connect with one another and other caring adults readily and openly. In Dorchester Consolidated School, no child is left out. Everyone has a chance to participate in any activity. Dorchester School has numerous activities that encourage students to become involved. And all these advantages that I have just shown really prove that small school challenges don't really exist in our school. The activities include but are not limited to, I'll go through these quickly. Drama, students can participate in 2 plays each year. Choir, once-a-week practices. Students enjoy a wide variety of sports in their new games, and everyone is included. Track and field and cross-country are activities in which they compete with other schools in the province, and they do quite well, actually. Chess, anyone can join this club, and we compete in provincial championships. Actually, just 2 days ago, our own Logan Reed placed 3rd place in the provincial championships for the 3rd year in a row. We have a breakfast club. Our community members make breakfast every morning, and the junior high students are responsible for the cleanup. Massey students from Mount Allison University come in once a week to teach about different countries, science, and various other topics. We also have people from the community teaching sewing, beading, etc. And these teachers are actually experts in their fields. We have visits from local authors, fire department, RCMP, numerous others. Museum guides come in and dress up in period clothing and speak about how they lived. They bring in real artifacts and explain real life in pioneer times. We also have 5 field trips, including horseback riding at Broadleaf Farms. Wetlands in Sackville. We've attended a Skate Canada competition, and we also attend a play every year at Mount Allison University put on by the Musical Society Garnet and Gold. Some points to ponder. Not only does research show that academic achievement increases as school size decreases, but 30 or more years of research also shows that in small schools, dropout rates are lower, student academic and general self-concepts are higher, interpersonal relationships between students, teachers, and administrators are more positive. Decision-making is less institutionalized and more flexible. Teachers report feeling more connected and more committed to their work, resulting in more positive attitudes, greater enthusiasm, and increased job satisfaction. Students report positive attitudes, and they report greater feelings of inclusion. Students fight less and are safer. Social behavior is more positive. In small schools, there is reduced negative effects of race and poverty on school success, increased attendance, decreased amount of discipline problems, increased personalization and individualization, more instructional time, greater participation in extracurricular activities, and an increased positive impact on a student's life beyond its walls. And this means that often students tend to go on to a higher education and become productive adults, as we've seen with some of the people that have presented already in this room. When we talk about getting the best return for our investment, namely education here, what return do we expect to receive? A graduate, right? In his paper, white paper, Costs of Small Schools, Brower says that small schools have lower dropout rates, therefore producing more graduates. He also goes on to show that the cost per graduate is actually 14 to 16% lower at small schools as compared to their large counterparts. Small schools create a unique culture of learning and acceptance which needs to be the norm all over our province. Instead of building these huge mega schools, put some resources into the existing smaller rural schools and we will see a great return for our investment. What makes our school so special and worth saving? We have a rich history from which to draw, to learn from our past. We have supportive community members who are willing to give up precious time to enrich the lives of our children. We have special teachers who love their jobs and are happy to get up every morning to work at our school. We have happy, healthy, and successful students who can grow and learn because they feel safe, they feel valued, and they feel loved. They know they are important and that their ideas matter. We also have a wealth of resources right at our door, like Mount Allison University, numerous museums, artists and artisans, the penitentiary, and many, many others. Our children thrive in this school. The quality of education and services at Dorchester Consolidated School is exceptional. Please, let's not make the hasty decision of taking the easy road, which will extinguish the life of this truly outstanding school. Dorchester Consolidated School is alive and well. Making the decision to close the school is just futile, like trying to fix something that is definitely not broken. Now, after seeing how much life and spirit our school has and the exceptional quality of education and services Dorchester School offers our children, if you still can't see the value of keeping its door open, then close it. But understand this, you will be extinguishing not only the life of this outstanding school, but the life of its close-knit community. Thank you.
Good evening, members of Dorchester community and District Education Council members. My name is Susan Spence and I will be speaking on policy 409, section 6.4, determining a school's sustainability, subsection 6.4.2, number 6, impact on the local community, and number 7, impact on the receiving school. The receiving school will be impacted by the teacher-student ratio going up. Children with special needs will receive less attention, less encouragement, etc. But first, I would like to remind everyone of the following information taken from the District Education Council member strategic objectives. I am focusing on number 3, although the others are equally interesting. Number 3 reads as follows. As a DEC, you will build a solid development of relationships and partnerships with various stakeholders, including business communities, Department of Education, other government agencies, parents, staff, students, teachers, universities, and other post-secondary institutions, other associations and stakeholders to advance the needs of our students. The DEC will take an active advocacy role on behalf of the Anglophone East School District. Dispute resolution and mediation protocol will be defined. Communication tools will be developed and implemented. The school's development plan will be a central communication link. I hope these objectives will be kept in place in this process. If the Dorchester Consolidated School is closed, the community of Dorchester will be impacted economically in the following ways. The school office and the staff utilize the local post office, the store, the restaurant, the library, the gas station, the local museums, the cranberry producer, and other small businesses. It has been determined by studies that when a community loses its school, houses, and property become harder to sell, prices lowered. When families look for a property to purchase, school location is the first consideration. Reduced real estate prices for homes and land will lower property values, resulting in lower revenue for the village and the province, and seriously undermine the economic growth of the community. In a recent telephone conversation with a village where the school was closed a few years ago, and I was asked not to use any names, the impact has been significant. No young families have moved into the area. Often, a house has only one person living in it. Their children, as young as 4 years old, travel over 2 hours on a bus to kindergarten, elementary, middle, and high school. The majority of their population is senior citizens. This village used to be a viable community, but now it is a dying community. There is a saying that it takes a community to raise a child, but it also takes a child to have a village. Black French immersion classes took their children to a school further away. They only have fishing and tourism left. The employees of a fairly large federal department live in a community that is an hour and a half away from their employment. They chose to live in a larger community and to drive to work so that their children can live and go to school where they will have friends and social activities. We don't want this to happen to the village of Dorchester. The social impacts on our community. Local events will be impacted, such as school reunions, Shiretown Days, Sandlake Festival, Remembrance Day, Christmas Bazaar, local musicals and drama club for students, the walking club, basketball, badminton. Children at risk do better in small schools. They are given more individual attention, support, develop self-esteem, and stay in school longer. They do better in society. If they leave school and are unable to function or find work, the cost to the province will increase through social service costs. Some rural students could fall through the cracks and may not become functional adults. There will always be demand for rural schools, and we are here to preserve that way of life. Local service clubs and other programs will be impacted, and I'll try and go through these as quickly as I can. Our community supports are from the Dorchester Memorial Library, Dorchester Fire Department, the Village of Dorchester, Shepherd's Chapter IODE, EOS Energy Solutions, Atlantic Industries Limited, Dorchester Amateur Basketball Association, Johnson's Mills Interpretation Center, Keeler House, Friends of Alicia, the Fort Folly First Nation, Recreation New Brunswick, Lions Club, Westmoreland Institution, the local Anglican Church Women, Post Office, Post of Cranberries, the local Legion, numerous local artists, Stamp It Up, Joey's Pizza, Sac-Lacoa, the Elf Reading Program, Tantramar Wetlands, Mount Allison University, Destination Imagination, The Right to Play, CNIB, the Capital School of Performing Arts, Nava Yoga, Food as Medicine for Preventative Care, Atlantic Vision, Dr. Megan Trites Porter, TFRC, Public Health, RCMP, Colb's Construction, Square Cut, Maryland's Beauty Shop, Dorchester Right Stop, Southeast Paddle Sports, Masonic Lodge, Eco Containers, Shiretown Image Maker, Dorchester Historical Society, Hackmatack Reading Club and Poster Contest, Fire Prevention, Recreation Center, Community Members, Lions Print Shop, Life Touch, Shiretown Days, Local Food Bank, Terry Fox Run, Chat to the Future, the Belgian Restaurant, Swisscott Tea Room, Talk With Me Early Land Use Services, Swift Service Center Limited, Tantramar Family Resources, the Massey Program, local authors. These community partners offer such things as yoga classes, donations of sports equipment, donations for the year of end trips, rain garden, heritage fair, program and financial support, Christmas donations, library books, scrapbooking, card making, paper crafts, after-school programs, food donations, letter to Santa, turkey dinner, outdoor play equipment, cranberry fundraiser, literacy volunteers, the breakfast program, humanitarian program, awareness presentation, drama class, health and wellness presentations, better sight, better grades, dental hygiene presentations, family literacy day, stress management staff workshop, security awareness, woodworking program and presentation, in-kind donations, outdoor pursuits, funding end-of-the-year ceremonies, funding end-of-the-year awards, school clothing, pictures, energy-saving ideas, PD luncheons, and hot lunch, the garnet and bowl production at Mound Day every year, field trips to Broadleaf Farms for horseback riding, Skate Canada, field trips to the wetlands, a free milk day, free spaghetti lunch and garlic bread, skating at the rink, swimming lessons, helmet donations. The enrichment programs, as was stated earlier, done by professionals, tie-dyeing classes, weaving, sewing, pottery, fun with bricks, woodworking, scrapbooking, baking, cake decorating, movie making, and beading, and photography. The local service clubs and other programs will be impacted. Firefighters provide demonstrations for students and teach fire prevention and safety. New members are recruited through the Junior Firefighters Program, and new young men and young women moving into the community. The fire department, the IODE, the Lions Club, and Masonic Lodge give bursaries to graduating students from Dorchester. Heritage projects promote local history, interest in seniors, and information learned from seniors, and visits to local museums. The breakfast program is run by volunteers who meet other residents, make friends, and meals provide a healthy, cheerful start to the day. The following information is taken with permission from a small versus large schools, the truth about equity, cost, and diversity by Dr. Stuart Grauer. Dr. Grauer is a teacher, the founding head of schools at the Grauer School, and the founder of the Small Schools Coalition. 3 givens: safety, teaching conditions, and academic performance. Before moving on to the Mythbusters, we considered extensive research on our givens. 30 or more years of research bore up the findings that small schools are safer, offer better teaching, and result in higher academic performance. Compared to larger schools, students in smaller schools fight less, feel safer, come to school more frequently, and report being attached to their school. It is impossible to dismiss school size as a powerful and fundamental indicator of safety for our children, and unconscionable to disregard the costs of the loss of this safety, however difficult they are to grasp and fix. For teachers, small schools have consistently been shown to have the conditions necessary for improvements in professional climates. Small school teachers feel more committed, connected to their work, and they report higher job satisfaction and a greater sense of responsibility for ongoing student learning. We understand there was some prejudice against or skepticism about small schools by large school proponents who claim that large schools, by virtue of having more homogeneously tracked and advanced placement courses, would be more rigorous academically. We found an absence of any research showing this prejudice to be justified. Researchers overwhelmingly were reporting that students learned more in smaller schools. For standardization mavens, students in small schools were reported to outperform students in large schools on standardization achievement tests, and significantly so, according to Frick and Driscoll, 1988, Gladden in 2000, Howley and Ripple in 2000, Husbands and Bees in 2004, Lee and Smith in 1997, and Raywald in 1980. Students in small schools were also getting more units before graduating high school. It was not, however, any of the above factors that was driving the century-long trend towards larger, more consolidated, comprehensive schools. Reasons given for those had much more to do with age-old myths about the power of large schools to provide optimal conditions for equal learning, equal opportunity, cost, and diverse and varied programs offering. I would recommend that you look up this paper by Dr. Grauer. It's available on the internet, and it's most interesting and read full of information. That's just a small part. We would like a moratorium of 1 year on all school closures, a reconfiguration of the catchment areas, research done on hub schools, and an increase in bilingual programs. The Minister of Education has given you the responsibility of closing a rural school, you, the deck members. You have a responsibility and decision of whether small schools should stay status quo or to be closed. Do you want this responsibility on your shoulders and your conscience, deaf member Roberta Brewer? Do you want this responsibility on your shoulders and your conscience, deaf member Harry Doyle? Do you want this responsibility on your shoulders and your conscience, deaf member Wayne Findell? Do you want this responsibility on your shoulders and your conscience, deaf member John Gallant? Do you want this responsibility on your shoulders and your conscience, deaf member Ian Holloway? Do you want this responsibility on your shoulders and conscience, deaf member Alan Jones? Do you want this responsibility on your shoulders and your conscience, deaf member Angela Lawson? Do you want this responsibility on your shoulders and your conscience, deaf member Ryan Downey? Do you want this responsibility on your shoulders and your conscience, District Education Council member Tamara Nicol? Do you want this responsibility on your shoulders and your conscience, District Education Council Dr. Tim Wallace? Do you want this responsibility on your shoulders and your conscience, Anglophone Superintendent Greg Ingersoll? Why not give the school and the community an extension of time to improve the viability of the school? That decision will help the community and you, as decision makers, to feel everything was done to improve the school situation. I urge you to review the proposals in the letters of support provided to Mr. Ingersoll this evening. And it's in a binder right there. It's all the presentations that we have made, as well as there's, I don't know, about 2,000 letters of support from the local businesses and organizations. And in closing, do you want to be remembered as people who took the heart of the rural communities in Albert and Westland counties? Or do you want to be remembered as forward-thinking educators and people who gave small rural schools and community a chance to grow, be viable, and sustainable? Thank you.
I am not here, ladies and gentlemen, as a mystery woman. I know the dark glasses make it look that way. I am not an actress in disguise or some other famous person, but I'm a missing link in the province of New Brunswick. I represent a group of people who within the school system do not appear quite often in the province of New Brunswick. All across Canada, there are associations, hundreds and thousands of teacher librarians. And I am the last president of the now defunct New Brunswick Teachers Association of Librarians. I have the privilege of honing my skills under a professional library supervisor in the only district in the province that ran a complete education program from elementary to high school in the 70s, 80s, and late 90s. I have noticed that there are two initiatives that are significant for the District Education Council to consider. I am happy that the government has appointed Marilyn Trenton Council and Madame, I believe it's Marie-Claude Blaise, to develop a literacy strategy for the province. It is unbelievable to me that after 41 years in the academic world of New Brunswick, that we are filling a space that all provinces across Canada have had in that length of time, but has been missing from our school education. This literacy strategy is really crucial to our future, and it is important that we combine our abilities to use technology, not just for games, not just for fun things, all those little gadgets that we have, but we use it to help our students and our communities to broaden our learning, our knowledge, and work together. I am humbled by the presentations this